Companies don't start out looking for you. They have a specific need and they're trying to meet the need. Truett Cathy of Chick-fil-A says, we don't hire people because they need a job, we hire them because we need them. Companies aren't running a ministry. They're going, oh, come over here and work so you'll be fulfilled. That isn't why people hire people. They say, oh gosh, we're short on this. If we don't get this done, we're going to have a problem. So we need to hire somebody to get this done. And then you come along going, well, I wonder how I fit into getting that done. And you've got to really look, and do you fit into getting that done? And the company's bringing you on board. You got to think about that when you're looking for a job, when you're choosing career direction. I mean, this book right here is fabulous on this idea of picking out the right thing to do with your life. This book is Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's one of the best-selling books in the last decade in business. One of the chapters in this book where they studied good companies that went from good to great, they said the companies that go from good to great have an ability to get the right people on the bus, get the wrong people off the bus, but most importantly of all, get the right people on the right seat on the right bus. And if you get people functioning in their strengths, you take your company from good to great. If you function in your strength, you get to be a part of taking your company from good to great. And your income will reflect that long term. Develop a strategy once you decide you're looking for something. Identify the target. Don't just go, I need a job. Now let's say I want a career. I want to go in a certain direction. Target the type of thing you're looking for. Look at stuff like the newspaper, online job postings in, employment agencies, networking. Pursue a company that you already know and love. Maybe they don't have a job listed. Most of the best jobs don't ever get listed. You know that, don't you? It's a friend of a friend. It's networking and those kinds of things. Only 15% of the jobs come out of the newspaper. You know, so, I mean, I hardly would waste my time with that. I'd look just for the fun of it. But you know, you need to be thinking about other ways to open a door and go, you've got a job that needs to be done, and I'm the guy, I'm the gal to do it. And let me show you how and why. And they go, well, I didn't even know we needed that done, but that's a good idea. You might make us more than you cost us. Come on. And that's how people get hired into great positions of doing something they love. So learn everything you can about this company. Research them, study them, read their website, learn about talk to the people that work there. Take somebody that works there to lunch, spy on them. They love it, okay? They love it. It's how you get their attention. You go, this matters. And you plug yourself into something there and people get fired up. You'd be amazed how you get hired that way. When it comes to contacting the company, think of it like starting a new relationship with a person. If you were going to start a relationship with a person, have you ever walked up to someone at a party or maybe a wedding reception, something like that, where everybody's just standing around talking, a bunch of strangers, and they walk up, and especially guys will say something like, what do you do? And somebody will start telling you what they do. And you really were just trying to create a conversation. You really did not want to hear all that they have ever done. You know, I mean, they'll give you their resume. People will talk on end about themselves, and you really didn't want to know all that. You know what I'm talking about in a conversation where it's all one-sided? That's not a relationship, is it? That's what sending out a resume to somebody who didn't ask for your resume is. It's all about me. Look at me. I'm great. Don't put me in the pile with all those others. Look at me. That's not a relationship. And you won't get hired that way very often. Very few of us have ever gotten high-quality jobs straight off of resumes. It isn't working that way. So instead, after you target the company where you'd most like to work, you're going to contact them at least 3 times. Send out an introduction letter. Dan Miller talks about this in 48 Days to the Work You Love. Then send a cover letter with a resume. But introduction letter could just say something like, hey, think you guys are awesome. I want to, over the next little while, I want to develop a dialogue with you. I want to develop a relationship with you. One step is you're going to be seeing another letter coming soon with a resume. You can toss the resume if you want, but don't toss the letter because I'm going to be following up. And then I'm going to be following up on a certain date. Expect my phone call on Friday, the 20th. I'll be calling on that day. And then when you call, they go, wow, this guy said he was going to call, and he called. This is a weird guy. Because most people are like, I can't call. They'll think I'm too forward, or I'm too scared, I'm backward. I don't want to. Just set up a game plan and a process here and follow this thing right down the natural event as if you were trying to get a date. You're building a relationship. Keep in mind, 98% of these companies are small businesses. They operate on relationships. They don't operate on policies and procedures. That's not who's hiring. Policies and procedures of the government. Nobody follows that in the real world except those unusual jobs like that. Interviews and jobs come from persistent follow-up and networking. That's where they come from. Unsolicited resumes have a 10% success rate, and classified ads have a 15% success rate. That's what studies tell us. It's interesting, we have a guy on our team right now that is absolutely fabulous team member. And he had crashed a business situation and really was kind of down on his luck a little bit. And he was working at one of the big box construction stores, like a Lowe's, a Home Depot type of a thing, right? And just to get some money. He was just to eat money, you know, while he looked for something to do and get back up on his feet and kind of get his, you know, kind of shake that thing off from getting knocked down. You know how it is. Do you know how it is? Say yes. Yes. And he sent in the resume, and in our place we get lots of resumes. I told you we got several hundred folks on our team, and so it got in the pile with the resumes, and you know, and it was, you know, we never really got around to it, and he wrote me this cool email telling me this story, and he's a storyteller. And he told me the story about two Dave Ramsey listeners and readers who came into the store. Both of them walked up to him at the same time talking about this piece of equipment laying in this construction area of the store, and it had opened, the box was open, and they both are trying to get a bargain on different parts of it, and they looked at each other and kind of high-fived and both went, Dave Ramsey. And he told the story better than I did. And I laughed when I read it. It was kind of cute. And he said, I couldn't resist because I'm a Dave Ramsey listener too, and I gave them both a deal. I went and got the manager, and we gave them a deal because it was just cute. They both got what they wanted, and the store got rid of the item, whatever it was, and this kind of thing. But the way he told the story, it was obvious he was a writer. It's obvious he's a storyteller. And in all the stuff we do around our organization, we tell stories because it's about people's lives. So we have to have those kinds of people on our team. And I got that email out, and I was reading it one morning in our staff meeting. And I read that. I said, this is a cute story I got on email. I was just sharing it with our whole team one morning. And I finished it, and I said, you know what? We need to hire that guy. And you know, we hired him by the end of the week. But his resume was already down in the stack, and we didn't even know it was there. It wasn't because we were trying to diss him. And he's on our team right now. Why? Because he used a different approach that showed his talents, connected with us in the way we think and have a philosophy inside of our organization, and boom, he got the job he wanted.
Sometimes when it comes to finding a job, it feels like there's a lot of pressure. Where do you start? What do you do to find a good job? How do you make sure you're making the right decisions if you're a job seeker? Well, there's 3 things I want to tell you about that. 3 very simple things that I think you need to keep in mind. Number 1, finding a job is about circles. It's about figuring out 3 different circles. The first circle is geography. The second is industry. And the third is permanence. So let's talk about that. When you graduate from college or when you leave high school and say, I want to have a job, your first circle is geography. And it can be really small. You can say, I want to work in this city. I grew up in this city. I love this city. This is where I want to work. And then your industry circle can be small too. You can say, I got a major in this. I want to be in this industry specifically. I majored in journalism and advertising. I want to be at an ad agency. And then permanence. I only want to look for full-time jobs. I'm not going to take temp work. And then as you go on with your job search, if things don't happen for you, you start to expand those circles. The circles get wider. So if you don't find a job in a few months and you start to get nervous, open up that geography circle. Say to yourself, okay, I'm going to look for work in Nashville and Memphis. Or I'm going to look for work in Birmingham and Montgomery. Or San Diego and Los Angeles. Widen that circle. Same with the industry. Okay, I have this type of major, but this other industry is similar, so I'm going to widen that circle and not just be so specific. Or maybe permanence too. You go, okay, in addition to full-time, I'll also take some contract work. That's the first thing, is keep those 3 circles in mind. The second thing is focus on results, not goals. Here's the number 1 mistake people make with their resumes. At the very top, everyone puts this paragraph that says goals or objectives. And then they write this horrible paragraph full of things like, I want to work in a people-based environment where people do great work and I'm awesome, blah, 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 blah. And nobody reads it. If you want somebody to read your resume, don't put your goals up there, put your results. Find one amazing thing you did each year in the last 4 years, in college or at other jobs you've had, and create a winning paragraph. These are the things I did to win, and here's why I'm going to do them at your company. I did that with my resume, and sometimes people would call me up and they wouldn't have even read the rest of the resume. They just quote that paragraph. So write a results paragraph. And the third thing is get social. When you don't have a job, your job is to find a job. And the best place to start is on social media. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you were an out-of-work nurse, you couldn't plug into a community of nurses and connect with other people. But now you have that chance. So maybe you want to start a blog. Maybe your industry loves blogging. And when you go to get hired at a company, they're going to ask about your blog. Maybe you need to follow some industry experts on Twitter. There's so many ways that you can get social with your goals. So remember, the 3 things you need to do as you're looking for a job is 1, remember, it's about circles. Number 2, results, not goals. And 3, get social.